Bruce, have you seen Canelo going on all these urban outlets? I think it's a cool thing. Like, what do you think? Like, this is some cool stuff. Yeah, I seen that he was on Sway. I seen that he was on $1 million worth of game. He's been going on a lot of urban platforms. And you know what? It is cool. You know what I'm saying? It is kind of cool. And it's more interesting because I think those platforms, we just ask better questions or more questions that people want to know. So I like, especially when people get on like loose platforms like that, who's really not trying to follow the script or something like that. But I think it's a good look. And this is something that I said that all boxers should have been doing. Like, I do not understand the marketing in boxing. This is something that they all should have been doing a long time ago. You know what I'm saying? Like, all of them. But see, boxing hasn't gotten to where it's got now. Boxing has more eyes on it and it has more popularity than it has been in decades. You know what I'm saying? Like, boxing finally got dragged up to the mainstream now. You know what I'm saying? Ever since Fury versus Deontay Wilder, they've been staying locked in. And then the Terrence Crawford versus Errol Spence helped them stay in. You know what I'm saying? Like, that really helped them stay in. You know, that fight helped out a lot. You know, as far as boxing being seen like mainstream or getting more popular again. But yes, I do see that. And number one, I would have to say that Canelo has a great team. I don't think that's something I never spoke about. Canelo got a great team. Like, he really does. But I seen a couple of y'all saying like, yeah, I think it's cool that he's doing that. And, you know, it just shows that he's rocking with us and what we got going on. I don't want you to go that far with it. You know what I'm saying? I admit it's cool. You know what I'm saying? It's something all these guys should do. It's cool to see Canelo in that environment and stuff like that. Don't get me wrong, but don't get it twisted. You know, it's all strategic. So I'm finna tell you why you're seeing him on all these urban platforms. And basically, in a nutshell, you've already been told. See, this is what y'all don't understand. This fight, as far as the caliber, is not there. All right? It's not there. All right? So you have to understand they're going to have to do things to help push this fight along. And there's a big issue. Edward Berlanga would like to claim that he has a country behind him, but he really doesn't. And this is something that Oscar De La Hoya has spoke on.
Edgar Berlanga, who is fighting Canelo on September 14. Now he claims he has a whole country behind him. Edgar, bro, you're from Brooklyn. I think I'm more Puerto Rican than you are, and I only lived there for 6 years. Puerto Rico doesn't claim you, bro.
So since he doesn't really have a country behind him, as far as marketing wise, do you know what you have to do? Because you can't sell this fight or sell Edward to the quote unquote straight American crowd. You know what I'm saying? The other side of the portion is the Mexican, but who do you sell this fight to? The truth of the matter is Edward Berlanga doesn't have a country behind him. So what you have to do, pay attention. What you have to do is start selling the fight to the urban community, because it is going to subsidize for the so-called country behind him he's supposed to have. Now, do you get it now? It's strategic, okay? Edward Berlanga doesn't have a country behind him, really. The country of Puerto Rico is not behind him. So who do you sell this fight to? And who do you appeal it to? Okay? So the urban community is stepping in as a substitute for the lack of this whole, I got the whole Puerto Rican country behind me. You don't. You're going to have to sell him to the urban community in order to make up for that market that y'all claim that he has, but he really doesn't, because he's really not from Puerto Rico like that. You know what I'm saying? And technically, you know what I'm saying? Technically, you can't be Puerto Rican unless you're born in Puerto Rico. But I'm going to digress there. You know what I'm saying? Because I don't want to get caught up in that. But yeah, that's exactly what they're doing. So this is exactly why you see Canelo Alvarez and Edward Berlanga on so many urban outlets. because they're standing in for the country that he's supposed to have behind him that he don't got. So you're going to have to sell. You're going to have to sell to the Brooklyn and all that stuff. And where do you need to go to get that stuff done? You got to come to the urban community. So basically the urban community is making up for his lack of fan base and his lack of so-called having a country behind him. Now, after I put it like that, you should easily be able to understand why now, out of all times, you see Canelo on urban outlets. You clearly see it's something that he could have been doing. But what y'all don't understand about Canelo don't care about nobody but his fan base. You know what I'm saying? If Canelo really wanted to get there, him speaking clear, straight English would have helped him out a lot with the Americans. You know what I'm saying? Or let's say white America. You know what I'm saying? That would have helped him out a lot with that. You know what I'm saying? And the same thing with the urban community. He could have did that. And a lot of people warm up to him because the way y'all responded from just seeing him on Sway and $1 million worth of game, y'all liking it. You know what I'm saying? So it proves that it works. But Canelo only cares about his fan base. Canelo can speak English and you know what I'm saying, all that. He chose to speak Spanish to show his dedication and his loyalty, and his only care is for his fan base. That's partially why they like him so much, because he know that they cater to them like that. He really doesn't care about anybody else, because these are things he could have been doing the entire time. But why hasn't he done it? Because he hasn't needed to. You know what I'm saying? It was detrimental for Canelo, the star he is, to come out speaking English. That would have opened him up to a bigger American market. But he know he didn't need it. The only thing he need is his core base. You know, so since Berlanga ain't got no country behind him, you're going to have to sell him to the urban community because nobody else is familiar with him. You know what I'm saying? You can't sell him to the straight American crowd because they don't know or even pay attention to boxing. You know what I'm saying? And they're not going to develop an interest over this matchup. So the urban community is stepping in as the so-called Puerto Rican country. And that's why you see it.